Hello and welcome to the Shell Show. I'm your host, Jacob Shell. Today we're going to discuss faith, family, and finance in that order. You will not want to miss a minute of this one, so stay tuned. Let's get to the show.
Man, all this stuff, I don't even know.
You don't have to look at anything.
Well, just how you even know what to do with all this.
Those two things are like...
All I did was press record. And we're back. Welcome back, everybody. We are here today with my good friend, Dr. Zach Cook. And, of course, the Trey Melton over there.
Hello to all the cameras.
The co-host of all co-hosts. Welcome, sir.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, of course. In addition to being Dr. Zach Cook, the chiropractor, you're also sole owner of ZCBD. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Well,
yes, indeed.
You and your wife.
Correct. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
And the boys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's cool. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so, I grew up in a small town in Mount Pleasant. I went to Wingate University, played football for a little bit, and then transferred to Charlotte, finished out my undergrad, then went to Life University down towards Atlanta, Georgia, where I completed my doctorate in chiropractic. And then me and my wife moved back here 2 years ago, and I did a little bit of chiropractic work in South Carolina for a little bit.
Okay.
Kind of get a little bit different perspective, and then came to work with my father at Cook Chiropractic here in Kannapolis, where I will eventually take over the business. And so right now, absolutely,
baby.
Yeah. So just kind of taking it one day at a time, and like I said, but kind of learning the different aspects of the business in addition to chiropractic as well. But just what it takes to what he does, because there's so much more than what we realize to running a business. So, anyways, just doing that, and so I've got two beautiful young boys, Dawson, who's 2, and Caden, who's 1, and my beautiful wife, Melissa. And so we live here in Kannapolis, and man, God's just growing our family left and right.
That's so cool, bro.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
How'd you enjoy playing football at Wingate?
Oh, so I did. I enjoyed it. I mean, I loved football. It was great. So it's no secret that I'm not the tallest guy in the world, all right? So anyways, that was always going kind of against us, even during like when we were being recruited in high school and stuff like that. So we ended up at Wingate, and I loved my time there. I actually have friends that are still my friends today, so made some awesome relationships. Tried to go to UNC Charlotte, where they were starting their new program there, and didn't quite meet the height requirement. Let's just leave it that way. So.
Well, and you say we because you and your twin brother.
Correct. Yes, I have a twin brother, and me and him went to Wingate together on a scholarship. And then we just kind of we've been inseparable over the years. So we kind of done everything together. So
I guess that comes with the territory.
What position were you?
I was outside linebacker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
just like Jake.
Holding it down.
Absolutely. There we go.
The vertically challenged club.
That's right.
Right.
Let's go.
And fun fact, you're actually our second twin we've had on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. We had David Benham on a few weeks ago.
Very good. Okay. I know
you
David.
Gotta watch the show, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I will. I'm going to tune in now, brother.
So, playing football, what inspired you to get into chiropractic? Was it your dad being in it? Did it have anything to do with like ailments from sports? Sometimes people have like severe injuries, and or family members go through medical issues, and that's what kind of gets them interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would say like a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. Yeah, so obviously being able to see what my dad could do day in and day out. Like we almost could not go to Walmart on a Saturday without running into a patient that had to stop us and be like, boys, let me tell you what your dad did for me. So that was very powerful. And so I always knew that growing up, and kind of like what he was able to do and chiropractic is able to do. But, again, I still didn't know if that was for me or if that's what I wanted to do. And it sounds funny. But, my teacher in 8th grade was like, we're going to do a career project. What do you want to do when you grow up? And for whatever reason, I made a very serious calculation that day. I was like, what do I really want to do? And I thought about all the different things. Do I want to do military? Do I want to do chiropractic or go into something else? And like chiropractic just stuck with me. And so I did that, and it was almost like something just settled in me during that project in 8th grade that I was going to be a chiropractor. And so then as I continued and I got further and further into sports, it just continued to solidify because, you do the typical bro thing in high school with guys, and we're all trying to beat each other on the bench press, right? So no warm up, no extra, auxiliary lifts. It's just bench as much as you can. And so between that and then football practice, my poor shoulders took a beating.
Yeah.
And but yeah, we were able, through what my dad was able to do through chiropractic and different things like that, able to recover so much faster, like post games and post workouts than our teammates would. And so and literally, I'm convinced that if we did not have him there, my shoulders would be ruined to this day. And then in addition to we never had any prescription medication ever. And it wasn't because we were denied it. It was because we didn't need it. And, and so I was watching classmates that was already getting put on like ADHD stuff and just different things like that, and or sickness or antibiotics and stuff. And I was like, man, as I got older, I realized like we never needed that. And so again, as I'm kind of putting these things together, as I grew, I was just like, man, the power of the body to heal itself is powerful. And so to help people to allow that process through their own bodies it was just a no-brainer. So
it's actually funny you say that. We go to the sports center every day.
Yeah.
Because we've been working out together for the past 3 weeks, and we were sitting in the sauna today, and somebody was talking about chiropractic. I'm gonna assume that you're the only chiropractor.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the guy was like, "Oh, where do you go?" He's like, "Oh, I used to go to Cook Chiropractor, now I go somewhere else or whatever." But it's funny you said that. I've heard multiple people, and I go to the chiropractor also, and they'll be like, "Oh, you go to Cook?" I'm like, "No, I don't."
Yeah.
And I've never known who it was until now. It's your dad.
Yep, that's him.
Wow,
Yes.
he's a popular guy.
Yeah, that's right.
I see my man,
And
Dr.
future
Zach,
you.
at the Cook Chiropractic Clinic.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, man.
Since I went to the chiropractor for years now, probably, and everybody always says like, "Oh, what's wrong with you? Like, what's going on?"
Yeah.
Can you get into that a little bit, like how good it is to go on a regular basis just to keep your body in line and everything? Because people always give me weird looks, like something has to be wrong with me to be going.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, so that's actually a big thing we like to preach is wellness. Okay, so as a coming in as wellness and maintenance versus only being symptomatic or like when you're in pain, because usually when you're in pain, it's from an accumulation of things over time. Like your body's just finally had enough to where it's so worn down that now you're feeling the effects.
Right.
And so again, we kind of have to climb from like the bottom of the hill up versus if we can keep you on top of the hill, then right as you're starting to kind of maybe go down that hill, we adjust you again. After about 4 to 6 weeks is when we tell most patients is a good like kind of wellness checkup, because usually you've done something by that point. You've slept weird, you've worked out hard, or you've done something to kind of need a little adjustment, a little tweak. But we try to get you while you're still on top of that mountain, so to speak, before when you start to come down, we're adjusting. You're not having to come from all the way at the bottom of the hill. So yeah, absolutely. I tell patients like, you don't need anything wrong with you to come in. I mean, come in, and in our clinic, we treat we just do more than you pop your bones. Okay, we do immune system boosting, so we do like acupuncture, electroacupuncture, cold laser therapy, decompression. All of those which help inflammation and help your immune system stay ramped up, and it's been really interesting. Even during this kind of like COVID time, we've had people that have come in regularly about that 3 to 4 week mark. They get their immune system boosted through acupuncture, and then they have had family members, like close family members, like sons, daughters, or wives or husbands, that have all gotten COVID, but they weren't coming in regularly. And the family member that came in regularly never got COVID. Interesting. So and we've actually run out of like numbers in terms of the number of patients we've had that have done that. Wow. I think the last time I checked, it was around like 78 patients I think that we have had that have had a spouse or someone close. They all got it, but they didn't. And the only difference in there was that they've come to see us on a regular basis. Wow. Yeah.
Usually we have to say medical disclaimer, we're not doctors, but in this case we don't have to say that.
One. Yeah.
We don't have to say that. That's a nice thing.
Right.
Go see them at Cook Chiropractic because they'll get you hooked up.
They'll cure your COVID.
That's right.
Can we say that?
Yeah.
They can fix you with a needle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You're one of the few chiropractors I've been to that actually does acupuncture. Is that a specialization? It seems uncommon.
Yeah, it is. It is a specialization. It requires in North Carolina, it requires about 200 hours of extracurricular schooling, essentially. So it's not always easy to get.
Yeah.
And so, but with that, that's why it kind of makes it a little bit more exclusive. Right. And plus, I think honestly, a lot more people would do it. They just don't understand, like I said, the value behind it. You know, I've had people who just was like, I don't know. I don't even know if I believe that or not. I'm like, well, give it a try, and you'll probably leave a believer. So yeah.
Absolutely. It feels incredible.
what kind of? Let me think of how to say this. There's like different styles of chiropractic. Like I've been to somebody that just will like pop your back. I've been to somebody that like swipe your back or swipe your head, which I don't know if you do that, but I hate that because I'm like, what the heck is going on? Nothing's happening right now. What exactly do y'all do? And can you explain that swipe for me if you know anything about it?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So to answer the swipe question, it's based off of a reflex technique. So your body. So let's say like when we're looking at have you ever had your leg lengths checked before? Like they check to see if you got one leg longer than the other. So I can swipe in a direction, and your body's muscles will actually respond to that swipe. So for instance, if your hip wants to go down, like it's saying I'm too high, I want to come down, I can swipe where that area is, and your muscles will actually relax because it wants to go in that direction. So while you don't feel it, if I was looking at your feet, and let's say they were off like this, and I swiped down, your leg would lengthen back down.
That is
so
weird.
there is some stuff to it. I don't use it personally because there's other ways you can check with that, and you don't have that reaction. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you swiping me?
Like swiping my leg and stuff. I might have just threw something off right there. I don't even know.
Right.
I just swiped my leg.
I'm gonna have to stop touching.
Unswipe everything I just.
No, you would be fine, and like it's not a permanent change. It's literally like your body will just shorten and then it'll go back. But anyway, that's just one way that you can check. Yeah. But in terms of what we do what's called full spine adjusting or diversified. Really, chiropractic is a myriad of multiple techniques that people have developed. Some people have found that certain techniques work better for them, and that's why chiropractic is so unique because everyone can develop their flavor. I can take a technique and maybe use 80% of that one technique that I like, but then I incorporate 20% of another technique and 10%, or something like that. But then, or you can just do an equal, you can do multiple techniques, and so that's kind of why it's different. Every chiropractor you go to is going to be a little different. You have some people that they will not deviate away from their technique, and if you do, then they will, call you a witch and and ready to burn you at the stake. Say that's not chiropractic, but it varies widely in terms of your chiropractic technique, and each chiropractor you go to will be different because they'll pick up on different techniques that they see that works for them or their patients.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can't believe that swipe actually does something.
That's crazy. When you first said it, I thought you were going to say it was some kind of nonsense.
Yeah, right.
But the fact that it works blows my mind a little.
Yeah, absolutely.
But acupuncture is crazy. Because I remember I came in a few months ago and my lower back was jacked.
Yeah.
And you hit me with them needles, and my whole lower body was just numb.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would prefer to stay like this for a very long time.
What exactly has happened? I've never had acupuncture. I've been jabbed with a needle a couple times, taking blood and stuff.
Sure. So acupuncture, just like, there's also something called dry needling. We do that as well. But dry needling just tends to hurt a little bit. It's more about finding trigger points. So kind of like if you feel the knots in your shoulders, it's like we'll find that knot, put a needle in it, and then that relaxes the muscles around it. And some people like attaching an electrode to it. So it's about a muscular component. But when it comes to acupuncture, there's things called meridians. So essentially, in a very basic sense, it's where the nerves kind of run along your body, and those nerves run to organs, and then it continues on different areas throughout your body. So we can place these needles in these meridians, or essentially these nerve lines, that help to strengthen, and this again is kind of very basic, but it's kind of strengthen the signals to these specific areas. So when you injure yourself or something's off in your body, whether it's an organ or a muscle or something like that, we can strengthen the nerve signal to those areas, and so then that part begins to function better. It pushes out inflammation, it pushes out whatever's aggravating it. It's kind of like if you're listening to a radio station that has static, you got to dial that station in to get a clear signal. Well, we're kind of doing the same thing with the nerves when we do those acupuncture points. So, for instance, one thing that we see a lot of is eczema on little kids, and eczema actually has a lot to do with the liver. People think it's a skin condition. Eczema actually stems from the liver not being able to filter things properly. So then those toxins that are not processed in the liver actually rises up in the skin, and you get eczema. So
interesting.
So we actually can treat liver points on the body and watch eczema go away. So it's
like
pretty cool.
Real time.
No, you're not going to watch it real time, but you're going to notice those patches or that.
instant
Yeah.
Disappear.
Now we have seen some pretty cool things. Like, I've seen people's eyes literally they have like glaucoma and they're not able to see, and like their vision's kind of getting into this tunnel vision. We've been able to do electroacupuncture and acupuncture, and by the end of the session, their eyesight's back. So
Whoa.
things like that. So
impressive.
it's pretty cool what we can see from it for sure.
That's crazy. I'm pretty sure I had eczema growing up when
Did you really?
when I was younger. Yeah, yeah, and that messed I guess my liver was messed up. Then I went to college, messed my liver up again.
Anyway, you're right. That will do it for more reason than one. So.
Oh, man, I'm just processing that right now.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's always a disclaimer. Like, I'd say, you will have a couple people that they don't respond to acupuncture the way that we would like them to. But I would say that's a very low percentage. I'd say 95% of the people we treat with acupuncture for whatever reason that they're there for gets the desired result. But I'd say that you do, just as a disclaimer, you do have about 5% that don't always respond as needed. So, yeah.
What's your recommended number of visits? You recommend people go to the chiropractic once a week?
Sure.
A few times a month?
I would say at least at our clinic, you will have people that will try to get you to come all the time. I will say I like the approach that everybody's unique and individual. We do see trends, so we do have things that we try to help patients understand that we've seen this trend, so we don't want you to go that direction, or we do want you to go this direction. But most of the time when we're seeing a patient for the first time, and if they're coming in with like an issue, getting a handful of visits up front. So usually between like 4 to 6 visits, which usually comes out to about like 2 to 3 weeks worth of visits if you're going like twice a week maybe. Usually that's great because most of the time, as I mentioned earlier, your condition didn't come from like one specific thing. Yeah. It came from like a myriad of things, multiple things that went on for weeks or months, and then finally your body's just now letting you know. Because pain is actually the last response of your body, believe it or not. Now, you can have a trauma where like something happens immediately, but a lot of times in a lot of patients we see, this has been something that's been going on for quite a while. So I tell them, if it took months for you to get this way, we have to now retrain your body and your muscles and your ligaments to now do things in a proper manner. Right. And just like if you heard of muscle memory before, so muscle memory, we know this from like working out. You work out and you might be terrible at it, but as you continue to work those muscles, then they develop muscle memory. You get stronger, your form gets better. Well, same thing happens with adjusting. A lot of times with patients, especially first-time patients, we'll adjust them, and I tell them, I said, by the end of the day or first thing tomorrow, you're probably going to be back out of alignment because your muscles are going to want to pull it back to where it was. It's just how they are. But yet, that's why we only want a few days to go in between visits at first. Because if we like I said, that way, as soon as it comes out, we're readjusting it, putting it back in, and then your body begins to think, oh, wait, I'm supposed to be here, not here. And so then after a few visits, if we're trending in the right direction, I try to space it out. I say, let's go 2 weeks, let's go 3 weeks, and then let's go 4 weeks. And then by 4 weeks, that's pretty much wellness. Yeah. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think one of the misunderstandings of chiropractic is people assume that it's expensive.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it's really not that bad. I don't know if you guys have a set charge or if it depends on insurance or what. Yeah. But it's fairly reasonable, right?
Sure, absolutely. I tell most people, I said, if you have a condition, let's just say a back condition, and you have to come in and, and see us for a handful of visits, a couple months worth of visits, you're left, and again, this is just a random figure I'm pulling out, but you're left paying maybe $800 or $900. While if you had to go to a medical doctor and you don't have a good insurance, or maybe you have to pay out a deductible out of pocket, you're left paying thousands of dollars. Yeah. And then there's no guarantee that even that's going to be the end all be all.
Well, it's important to delineate. You're talking like less than $50 a visit.
Oh gosh,
typically like $30 to $40 a visit.
Correct.
So the $800-900 sounds like a lot, but there's a lot of visits packed into there. That's like treating some sort of chronic deal.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So definitely check these guys out on the chiropractic side.
How many adjustments do you think you have under your belt?
Oh gosh, man, I don't even know.
10 million.
Yeah, I don't know.
Thousands?
I would say so. I would probably say so. Our clinic, we probably see roughly between our 4 doctors, we probably see about 1,000 people a week. Wow. So yeah, we're We're doing
busy.
Yeah, we're seeing.
So
a lot
can
of
you look
people.
at somebody walking and being like, yeah?
Oh
he's
man, it's a
little off?
curse. I tell you.
Really?
Yes, no, I'm not joking. Yeah, it's almost a curse. It's kind of like when I used to do bodybuilding. All you could see is carbs, proteins, and fats with all
Yeah.
your food. It's like now it's like all I can see is the way people walk and their gait and how their posture is. And I'm just like, man, I need to give you my card.
Yeah.
So,
Be honest. Did you look at me and think anything about me when you walked in?
we'll talk about that later. No.
Oh, jeez. My mom's gonna be sick to her stomach. She cares about wellness and stuff like
Man,
that.
she does.
Yeah, man.
Dude, let's talk about this product. All right,
Yeah.
so we've got this new little segment that we're doing on our show. We're
Right.
calling it Show and Shell.
Okay.
Because it's clever. Trey came up. Well, I don't know if Trey came up with it, but he was the one that kind of front man.
I came up with it.
calling
Unless y'all think it's lame, Jake came up with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
think Mia or somebody else might have said something like that before. I can't remember.
Yeah.
My sister Mia.
Yeah.
But anyways, ZCBD.
Yes.
We're highlighting that product today because it's helped me tremendously with sleep,
Yeah.
and that we're gonna get a mixed reaction from this crowd. And
Sure.
I'm sure you're plenty used to that by
Oh yeah.
now.
Absolutely.
But there are some people who think that it shouldn't be taken or whatever, and
Correct.
there's the other side who have tried it and they're like, this stuff is amazing.
Sure.
I'm on that side,
Right,
Because
yeah.
my brain's just so active,
Yeah.
that I would struggle to sleep because I'm like, or I'm already living the next day while
Yeah.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to go to sleep.
this
I
guy
know
was
that.
late for, I believe, golf because he overslept because he
have-
said, "Oh, I had some of that CBD last night. I didn't even hear my alarm
I
this
have
morning."
never been an oversleeper for a tea time,
Right.
And I just clean missed it.
Oh
dude.
man.
just clean missed
Oh
it.
man, that's awesome.
I was
Bad. I had to
not-
drive myself to the golf course. It was
Yeah,
That
brutal.
is bad.
Trey sat in my driveway for like a half hour waiting for me to get up, and I was out. In fairness,
Wow.
my phone's on silent. It's not on
Sure.
vibrate or anything.
Right.
So like, if I'm not looking to see what time it is, just no chance.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, talk to us because I know we discussed privately kind of how clean the contents are,
Sure.
etc. Talk to us about what sparked the idea, how the company came about,
Sure.
and then your process of sourcing, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. So, ZCBD came about because, being in the more holistic medical field, if you would, we're always looking for products that are more natural based. And right now, CBD is like a dime a dozen. You can go to the grocery store, you can go to the gas station and get it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all over the place. And so I was having patient after patient coming in. And they're like, I've tried, because I would ask them about CBD, because I knew about it and I knew kind of what it was meant to do. And so I'm like, well, have you tried CBD? And they're like, yes. They've spent tons of money on it,
Yeah.
and they're like, it doesn't do much for me. Like
That happened to me.
Yeah, and I was like, well, what's where's it coming from, and all this other stuff. And I would ask, and they had no idea. It was at Publix or it was at the gas station or something. And so, anyways, we would just we were having so many patients coming in, and they were desperately trying to find something that would help them, but they didn't have to go get a prescription for either. And so finally, by just happenstance, I ended up getting in contact with a guy who has a hemp farm in Colorado. Great Christian family. Guy's name's Ron. But they, process everything there on their farm. Great people. And I found out about him through my neighbor of all people. And so my neighbor, my neighbor's like, hey, listen, like, I know you're a chiropractor and I know that you're, into the holistic stuff. I've got a guy that does hemp and he's got a hemp farm. Like, would you like his contact info? So I was like, sure. So I got on the phone with him. We chatted. I kind of shared with him, like, just kind of knowing like what he's about, and instantly just felt like this was a guy I could totally do business with. And I told him about where my concerns were about the current CBD market, and because the thing about it is right now, again, like it's really hard to kind of get through the extra noise. It's like, yes, it all says CBD, but it's like the difference between whole grain sprouted wheat bread versus white Wonder bread. Yes, they're both bread, but there's two very different, nutrition components.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing with CBD. And so I told him, and he walked me through their process of how that they get their CBD and how that they process their CBD and everything from start to finish. And so we started that relationship. And what we do is we actually, every batch that we get from them, we send to a third-party tester. We get it checked for quality. We make sure that it's as potent as we want it. It's as clean as we want it. So there's no preservatives, herbicides, larvicides, any sides in it. There's no heavy metals. There's nothing like that in it. It's literally It's just literally from the field to the bottle.
Yeah.
And so we extract it through a process called CO2 extraction, or critical CO2 as it's technically called. Anyway, it's been great. It produces a very clean CBD. There are different ways you can extract it, but that's been a way that we found has been able to extract the most potent CBD while making it very clean.
Right.
Because some of the other ways that you can do it, it's very potent, but also it's kind of like, it's not as filtered, if you would. So there's an earthy component, and it's not, it's a little bit different. But we like the clean kind of version. So that's kind of where we started with our product. But there's literally 2 ingredients in it. There's a carrier oil that's based from coconut, which is organically sourced, and then there's the actual CBD oil. Right. So what you see is what you get, pretty much. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, and you did a little experiment, right, where you had people take it and get drug tested too.
Correct.
Just to make sure that it was pure.
Yeah. So we have I see patients from all walks of life. Many people that work for the state or different places that they get regular drug tests and different things like that, or random drug tests, and they wanted to try it. And so we actually had a few people we gave it to, and we said, go get a drug test, and they came back and it was completely clean. So our CBD, the one thing is when we talk about CBD, people automatically think weed.
Right.
It's not weed. Yeah. Okay. It's in a similar plant family, but this is a completely different. This is from a hemp plant, not a marijuana plant. So the THC in that actual hemp plant is super low anyway. You could from what I understand, you can probably smoke the whole thing and not get high at all. So anyways, but what is in there, we have it extracted from our sources. So there's no THC in it. I think legally you can get some that has 0.3% is the legal limit of THC, but we've made sure that there's none in ours at all. It's literally just the CBD oil, the cannabinoid oil, and that's about it. So there's no psychedelic effects, no mental effects like that.
Just good sleep.
Just good stuff. Yeah,
just good
stuff.
Good sleep.
I've done weed before.
Right.
You've done
so I know what that feels like. So what's the difference I've never had CBD before. I've never even had a little drop or anything.
Yeah.
Do you feel something? Is it like, are you just mellowed out, or do you feel is there anything going on, or you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Well, for me, and I don't know if you want to comment on this, but for me, I found just through my customers, it affects everybody a little differently. Now, whenever I take it, I just notice that it almost feels like my nervous system just takes a breath. Like it's just
relax.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not like I'm not drowsy. I'm not like droopy or dragging, nothing like that. It's just like that little bit of anxiousness you might feel. I just kind of feel very calm and relaxed. And again, I've found that it's affected everybody a little bit differently, which I can talk about a little bit too. So
yeah, same. It's not like I take it and all of a sudden I'm like ready to go to bed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's just when I lay down and I decide to go to sleep, there's a lot less. It's not like inhibiting my thoughts in any way, but it allows me just to relax.
Yeah.
So that's
now. What are you safe to drive with? Safe to drive on?
Absolutely. Now, I would tell everybody as a disclaimer, like, don't try to take this for the first time and go drive. Just because, I mean, there's literally so many variables for people out there and how things affect them. But like, there's almost no side effects at all with CBD, none whatsoever, and even drowsiness. Like I said, and I would tell everybody that wants to take it for the first time, like, give it a try, give it a go. It can't hurt,
Now, is yours like a gel, or is it like some mouth drops, or how does that work? Like I know they got like where you can rub it on.
Right. Yeah. So ours is oil, and it comes in like a little droplet type bottle.
Okay.
Yeah, got it right there.
Model.
There you go. And anyways, but yeah, so you can ingest it. So the way I typically like to do it is I like to do it in the morning and at night. And I put it under my tongue, hold it for 30 seconds, and swallow it. But I've also have patients that will rub it topically as well. So if they have knee issues, shoulder issues, whatever, joint pain, things like that, they'll rub that on there, and they can rub it on. They say it works great. They love it.
And it's mostly a muscle and joint thing, or does it like help you with it? Like if you have a headache and you're like,
oh man. Yeah, so basically the way that cannabinoids work, so we actually have something called an endocannabinoid system in our body, believe it or not. And it helps regulate something called homeostasis, so how our body maintains like leveling, like kind of leveling off and balance. And so what we get from CBD is something called phytocannabinoids. So it's just like your body produces proteins, but yet you need proteins through food to help you out. Same thing, we produce cannabinoids in our system, but having an extra supplement to help really helps balance things out, because things in life, like whether it's, I mean, just nowadays, you know, a lot of stuff is harsher in our body. So whether it's chemicals or environmental stressors or stress or whatever the case may be, it depletes us. And we don't always have the nutrition that we need. So many times we're cannabinoid deficient. And so having this helps balance things out. So what it does, one of the big things it does is it reduces the inflammation in the body. That's one of the biggest things why people take CBD. So if you have like joint pain, muscle pain, things like that, anything that might be inflamed, your gut, if that can be inflamed as well, things like that, the CBD kind of fills those voids where you need that nutrients, and it helps to balance and reduce that inflammation. Patients with epilepsy that take it. I've seen patients with Parkinson's that will take it, and they have like these shakes, and they'll take it, and about an hour later, their shakes will be stopped or diminished. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a healer; it's more of a calmer, I guess you would say, a relaxer.
Yeah. So, and like I said, what I would say for people that's never tried CBD, again, kind of like chiropractic, I would use it as a preventative wellness product. Because yes, if you're in pain, I want you to go ahead and start taking it. It can only help. You know, it can't hurt. But like I said, to take it as a wellness product to maintain your wellness would probably benefit you even more.
Yeah. Well, and because it's so clean, you're probably not going to see side effects when coupled with other medications either.
Very true.
So that's it's not like something where you necessarily have to consult your doctor.
Correct.
Of course, we're going to recommend that you do just for the sake of doing it. But you know how they can be sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Nothing against doctors. I appreciate all of you.
No, thank you. Thank you. No, but
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. But no, like, and I often tell people this too, because, you know, I know that there's some people on the spectrum that don't, you know, like, oh, it's weed or part of the weed plant family, and so they kind of have hesitations of taking it, feeling like it's going to mess with them.
Full spectrum CBD.
Yeah, correct. Or, you know, full spectrum CBD, or even broad spectrum CBD, like what we have here. People are just hesitant because they see like a plant that looks like the weed plant, and they're like, okay, I want to stay far away from that because they don't know how they feel about it. You know, my thing that I often tell them to kind of give them some comfort and peace about it is that, like, you can have something like this that's completely natural and holistic. It helps your body, and it does it in a natural way, versus if we get these prescription that are man-made and synthesized that often lead to addictions and worse side effects. So now you're having to take a prescription for this and a prescription for the side effects of that first one, and this, and this. You know, like ibuprofen's a great one. I tell people about all the time. Ibuprofen, while it takes your pain away for a little bit, it ruins your gut. It eats holes in your gut. Tylenol kills 5,000 people a year due to liver toxification, and, you know, things like that. It can mess with your endocrine system. So all these things for a momentary pain relief, right? Well, now we have something through CBD that is natural. It helps your gut. It helps metabolize or your metabolism, and helps correct your gut health, and in addition to helps bring down inflammation and pain, amongst other things. So why don't we go that route first?
Exactly.
You know, and you know, again, there's times and places for everything. You know, we all know this. But like I often tell people that are hesitant, like, there's not anything more natural you can get to than CBD right now if it's done right. Than, you know, running to the pill cabinet, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, and I was one of those people that had tried like a more expensive solution, still CBD, but I had tried a more expensive brand. I can't remember if it was Whole Foods or Earth Fare or where I got it from, but I tried it and it did nothing. It didn't do anything for me.
Yeah, right.
And I don't know if that's just because it's like, I didn't know why, but it kind of turned me off of it until I came into the clinic, and I was like, oh, you know what, I'll try it, because I'd been struggling to sleep, and this stuff is much better.
Yeah, and you know, again, it's hard to say because I don't know every product out there, how they handle their stuff, but I do know about 80% of the current hemp CBD oil that is out on markets and mainstream shelves right now actually come from China, and so they actually have no standards of purity, and so, for instance, like, you know, plants absorb everything around it, like air quality wise. And so finding CBD, or excuse me, hemp plants that are grown, and again, one, like these, you know, these farms that are, you know, completely clean, but also the air quality is clean and good too. That's another important thing. So like if it's an area that's grown a lot of smog and other stuff, they absorb that stuff. And so, you know, and so there, again, we want to find places or you want to find companies, even if it's not this one, you want to find places and do your research that you see where it's grown, how it's grown, and then like what's the environment around the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there like an age group that this is and isn't okay for? Like, say babies are teething or something like that. Is this something you could rub on the gums?
Or just crying and being really annoying.
Right, just want to mellow them out a little bit. So yeah, CBD is completely safe. Again, I consult, again as a disclaimer, anybody's doctor just to make sure.
You're a doctor.
Correct.
Consulting you.
Yes. Consulting now.
Consider it consulted.
Right. Yeah. But yes. And again, like we're not giving them. Obviously, common sense is involved. We're not giving them full doses like a human.
Right.
Most of our dosages are built off
like
of
an
the.
adult.
Yeah, that's right. Most of our dosages are built off of the average American male standard, which is currently right now like about 5'6", 160. So
Right.
so you can kind of gauge where you're at. So with that, yeah, I tell them like you can give your child a little bit of CBD, even diluted in like apple juice or something like that. Again, it is not meant to be something that you are supposed to use as a crutch, but if they're teething or something like that, that's great. You can use it for your pets. It's completely completely great for use for your pets. If joint pain or anything else going on with your pets, give it to Fido, and he'll be just fine with it. So so it's good for about everybody.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
What's the so are you able to sell it online right now? Can people find you anywhere to buy it?
So currently, yes, we are online.
Okay.
So that we mainly have done the online thing right now, so that our people that we're shipping it to, our customers we're shipping it to, can see our quality assurance. So again, as I mentioned, with every batch, we have our third-party tester, and we post the results of that on our main website, so you can go see for yourself the potency and the transparency. We currently are finishing our website right now.
Okay.
The easiest way to kind of be, get on social media and say, hey, you would like some. But our website that we do have is myzcbd.com.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can still go right now and go check that out.
Yeah.
And I do have contact list on there, so you can shoot me an email. We can get it to you. But in terms of like the online marketing stuff, we're still getting that kind of worked on.
So you have ZCBD as a social platform too on Instagram and stuff?
Yeah,
Or is it just through your personal?
It's just through my personal at the
Okay.
moment. Yeah, it's not. We're kind of behind on that right at the moment.
That's cool.
But like I said, but we're all getting that worked on right now, so that can be available and we can ship nationwide.
Okay.
So,
We'll throw links down so you guys can check it out, and then we'll also throw some stuff down there so you can, I guess, either contact me or you, and we can sort out getting some people some stuff.
Yeah, man.
The best way would be just visit the clinic because
That's
you've got
right.
stock at the clinic, right?
Correct. Yes,
so
indeed.
if you haven't done chiropractic, come by, check it out, give it a shot, and pick up some CBD while you're down there for
yeah,
sure.
man. Absolutely. We'd love to have you.
Take a little shot of that bad boy.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
sir.
I'm still like curious about how, so like with weed and tobacco and stuff, when you stop doing it, you kind of have like
Like a craving?
yeah, like I need to do this again, or like
Right.
I can't sleep without smoking the night or whatever,
Yeah.
So is it the same way with CBD? Like if you stop taking it, would you be like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to sleep without my CBD,
Right, right.
or whatever it is, like a withdrawal almost?
So, to my knowledge, everybody that I have talked to, and also like just looking at different articles and this research articles behind it, it does not have an addictive side effect. Because what CBD does is it pretty much just fills those areas in your endocrine system and your cannabinoid system that need to be filled, and then after that it's expelled through your system, so it doesn't like hang around and can give you that craving. And then the hope would be even that your body develops good sleep, like for instance if it's sleep, that after a while your body has done that long enough where you've developed good sleeping patterns and you won't even need the CBD. Yeah. So and actually there's a study out that they use CBD for people that had nicotine and alcohol addictions and other addictions, and it decreased their cravings by 50%. So those people that are trying to come off of those things, when substituted with CBD, saw a pretty significant improvement in not having cravings, which is always helpful for people in those scenarios. So
Better than throwing a patch on your arm. And
right, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that in taking. I don't take it every night.
Right.
I'm not very good at remembering, honestly.
Yeah.
So I don't see any real difference. The one thing that is strange though is I feel like I dream more when I don't have it.
Yeah.
So when I take it, I sleep more solid,
Yeah.
but I don't have as many dreams.
Yeah.
And now when I don't take it, I'll have a lot more active dreams,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like I got as deep of a sleep.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like it was more active. And then on the other side, you're talking about like the addictive properties. A lot of that is routine as well.
Very true.
So like bedtime routines for kids are so important because it gets their body prepared.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, I know we've done everything else. Now I know it's time to sleep.
Correct.
So if you take it every night for like 4 or 5 years, obviously if you try not to take it, it's going to feel like you won't physically feel it, but your brain's going to be like, I'm supposed to be taking this.
Correct.
Or like,
yeah.
I'm supposed to have something else before bed. And I don't know that gets enough credit. Like
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
we
Habits
were
are powerful.
built for those kind of
Yeah.
cyclical rhythms.
Very true.
Patterns.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
the way we were designed.
Now, what do you know when like CBD first came on? Because CBD is like avocados to me. You know what I'm saying? They just kind of like popped up, and they were like, "This is the thing to be on."
Avocado.
Just came
Avocados is everywhere now. You
Straight
can get
from
it
Mexico.
anywhere now. Or
Yeah, so I mean, basically, just in the last couple years, it's really hit hard. I mean, like I said, because there's been no like true like regulation recently over it. A couple laws have been passed that have kind of opened it up to be able to be sold as long as it maintains under that 0.3 THC limit. There is some other things that are coming out that. I'm not too familiar with that are like variants of CBD that I would be kind of leery of, but they're called like Delta 8.
yeah, I've seen that. What is that about?
So I mean, basically, it's so that is the Delta 8 is stemming from that THC component, so kind of the psychedelic component of weed.
Yeah.
But it's in cannabis, in the cannabis that we use, or excuse me, the hemp that we use, it's in very small trace amounts. But yet what they're doing is men are taking it and extracting it and synthesizing it. So essentially it's a man-made like THC is what it is, but they're just putting it in CBD oil. So it has that psychedelic effect. I'm not really about that too much, and I
Yeah.
don't really care for that. And really, there's no regulation on it right now, and there's no long-term studies or anything on it. So I just kind of steer away from that until I
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
see what the results are from that.
Yeah,
So yeah.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like there might be
Yeah.
some trouble down the road. For that.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So where do you see? I mean, are you trying to, I guess, make the CBD company into a bigger thing? Is it just really designed to be somewhat of a solution for your clients and your network? Are you actually going to grow it to be a nationwide business? Where do you see that going, like in the next year or two?
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely see it being, like I said, a bigger product, like a nationwide product. Absolutely. How that looks and through what venues, I'm kind of being very fluid with is my heart's always been in athletics. So, getting involved with athletes and seeing that affect them and their performance and everything, because that's another thing too. I mean, it's like, if we can help them, perform their best, I mean, that just kind of makes my heart happy because I used to be an athlete. So, so I love that. But yeah, and then, our biggest thing is how can we set ourselves apart from everybody else out there? And so, that again is going to be a growing and developing thing for us as we continue to grow. But ultimately, I do want to see it be a nationally recognized product, and to, like I said, I want to see it on, like I said, maybe
Go on Shark Tank.
Maybe Shark Tank. Yeah, we'll see. But
Sick. You got to say hey to Mark for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, like I said, I mean, again, I'll be honest with you. In terms of like where I see it as the end result, I'm still kind of weighing that out and walking that out. But I definitely don't plan to keep it, like I said, in terms of just for a patient base. I want to get it out as much as possible. We're in talks with some current like local mom and pop pharmacies to start getting out in those ways, and just kind of start branching out and see where it takes us. And the internet,
social media,
absolutely
can be huge.
Oh, for sure.
The metaverse.
The
You better
metaverse.
get it. If you viewers don't
Send
come
some to
through with
Mark.
at least 10 orders, I'm going to be very upset.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We need at least 10
So we've
orders.
talked about CBD as a wellness. We've talked about chiropractic care as a wellness. Is there anything else in there that you throw in to stay healthy? Obviously, eating healthy and everything. The acupuncture. Yeah. Is there any like a everyday thing that you try and do to keep your wellness in check, or maybe somebody can't afford chiropractic or don't
Mm-hmm.
scared to do CBD. What is something that they would do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say, obviously, I just go ahead and tell you, just try both of those. I promise you, you won't be disappointed, especially if you come to us. But,
Yeah, there you go.
anyways,
Discount code.
that's
Shell
right,
Show.
discount code. Yeah, that's right.
We'll give you $1 off.
There you go. Absolutely. But yeah, one of the biggest components that I have is from a physical aspect is, I do, I try to keep exercise as a priority.
Yeah.
And, that's something I think most people know, whether or not they actually implement that. Really it's whenever we start to become sedentary, and I get it. Some jobs require us to sit a lot, but to be honest, the way we were created, we were not created to be sedentary. So our jobs that make us sit for 6-8 hours a day, that's doing so much.
Yeah.
Like sitting is the new smoking, really. So, I mean, seriously, it's pretty bad. And so I tell everybody, go get up and go exercise. You don't have to bro out and bring your gallon jug of water. I used to do that, so I can talk bad about it. Yeah, but like I said, go movement. We had a saying in chiropractic school, movement is life. So exercise is great. And then, man, I get up every morning outside of that, and I spend time in God's word and prayer, and just make sure that part of my life is first and foremost. And then I make sure that, I take priority over that. So if it means I got to go to bed a little earlier so I can get up to read or do whatever, I'll do that. So those are two very important things for wellness for me that I want to keep going.
I gotta get better at going to bed earlier. I'm just more like, if I go to sleep at 1, I'm just like, I know I got to get up at 6, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I'm up. I just sacrifice the sleep.
Well, I would say the same, but when you got 2 kiddos right now, it's just you get sleep when you can.
Yeah,
so
true.
so you learn.
True.
Anytime you sit
You
down.
function without it. if
That's
necessary.
right. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Caffeine will keep you alive.
It can
It's
be a
the breakfast
savior,
of
man.
champions.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Him and
So-
coffee, man.
We've been Trey hasn't been converted yet.
Oh,
He's not fully an adult until he gets into
really?
coffee.
Oh my gosh.
Just not a coffee guy. Like what? I feel better about y'all need something to pick you up. I wake up. I'm a little slower at first, but I got the energy when I want, and I'm good. I can
That's a
dig deep
gift.
and pull from
That's
it.
a
you know?
gift. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Self-sustained.
That's right.
He's like a Tesla.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm
man.
an electric car.
Let's just decide when I'm charged.
I'm a
I
robot.
love it. So, our question of the day we basically already asked, but typically we finish off with a question of the day. And I guess right now I'm kind of struggling to think of
I'll
one.
say this: we have the 3 F's that we talk about here:
Yeah.
faith, family, and finance.
Right.
How do you balance those out? Is it faith, you put all your stuff into faith and then let it kind of bleed through the finance and family? Or do you kind of balance all 3 of them by a little bit of faith, a little bit of family, a little bit of finance?
Right.
Is
Absolutely.
that how they would be ranked for you, or how does that work?
Yeah, and so I would say in terms of hierarchy, it definitely is like faith, family, finance, but they're not technically far apart,
Right.
So like the best way that I can be the best husband, the best father by knowing who my father says that I am. So spending time with him, walking out my life with him, and staying in his word and prayer, and just having that intimate relationship with my heavenly Father. That's going to make me a better father, because then out from that comes my first ministry call, which is my family. So my family is my first ministry. Everybody else it comes secondary. So if I'm being a good Christian, then I'm being a good husband, a Christian husband, and good Christian father, and then a good Christian businessman and chiropractor, and it trickles down from there. And my life ultimately will be satisfied in those, because, finances can come and go. We know it's not everything, though. It makes a couple concerns go away,
Yeah, that's
that's
a little CBD.
That's right,
in
yeah.
green.
That's
I would
right,
say.
exactly right. Yeah, absolutely. So it will make you sleep a little better at night sometimes. But like I said, even then, I know that that's perishable. So like what I can do in those first 2 with my faith and my family, like that's because your family's gonna be your legacy, and so it's gonna be what you implement in them will carry on for generations. So Yeah, from my faith bleeds into my family, and then after that, it's finances to make sure that my family's, stable, and that my children will have opportunities as they grow older, to be able to do the same for their family, and then that will just establish again a legacy of being a faith-filled family that can also financially provide for their families as well. Yeah. So.
That's
Yeah.
cool, man.
That's awesome.
I love that.
We really
I'm gonna try
appreciate
some CBD.
Yeah.
Come on, baby. We appreciate you
go.
coming on, brother.
Yeah,
It's been an
absolutely,
absolute
man.
pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to be here as well, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
like this. You a Carolina fan or no?
I'm not Wake Forest.
Really?
Yes,
They're
Wake
pretty good
Forest.
in football this year.
Yeah. My dad played at Wake Forest, so anyways, kind of a fan by birth, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah,
That makes
absolutely.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Cool,
I'll
brother.
allow it, I guess.
Oh
A
yeah.
little demon deacon.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to check out all the links that we've got posted. Check out ZCBD. Check out Cook Chiropractic. And just give me a shout if you have any questions.